I'm Barry Funkhauser, and this is the Barry Funkhauser Show. Because it's a special day, Joe. Do you know why it's such a special day, Joe?
Because you're kicking me out of the news so we can interview a guest.
That's right. We're going into the hills of the music capital of Southern California. And we're going to Topanga Canyon to meet Regina Ferguson. She's a singer-songwriter. Hello, welcome to the program, Regina.
Hi there, Barry.
So you are sort of not that new on the scene, but you're growing in popularity. The lady from South Carolina. Is that where you're from, South Carolina?
So I'm actually from Pennsylvania.
Even further north.
Scranton?
I lived in South Carolina for about 10 years before I moved to Los Angeles. So that's most likely why you thought that.
So why did you get down to South Carolina for jazz, out of all things?
Well, I actually studied music in college. I studied classical music, and I moved in South Carolina at USC, and I moved to Charleston after school to work as a singer. And I did sing jazz in college and stuff like that. But yeah, I worked as a singer in Charleston, and I did various genres.
And you made your way to Los Angeles. Now, of all places to move, you decided to come to where people get discovered in the Topanga Canyon. You played Topanga Days. I went to a couple of those. Those are fun, where you get to discover a bunch of bands.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's actually coming up, so I haven't played it yet.
Oh, you haven't? So is this your first time playing that thing?
It is.
Oh, man, you're going to have some fun. How long have you been in Topanga Canyon? Like, totally.
I've been in the canyon for about 3 years. 3 years. I've been in LA for 5, in Topanga for 3.
And do you like it? I'm sure you do like it. Do you have a lot of friends there? Do you jam?
So I do like it a lot. And yes, almost my whole band lives in Topanga, and we rehearse here as well, which is really fun.
Do you ever run into the old ones, the old musical fools there that still live there?
There definitely are some, and it has quite the history. Yeah, actually, I played this little local show maybe over a year ago, but some of the guys from Little Feat were performing,
cool.
And that was very cool because some of them still live in the canyon.
Now, do they get a kick out of your sound? I mean, because you're straight out of a time machine. Do they come to you and be like, where did you come from?
Well, not necessarily, because even though I've been here for 3 years, almost 2 years of that was COVID. So it was actually really hard to meet people and also to link with musicians. So I think me getting to play Topanga Days this year and kind of get into the scene is like, going to be great for me in terms of meeting other musicians.
That's right. I forgot about the whole pandemic that kept us inside. That must have been fun for you there. It's like, well, here I am, and now I can't go anywhere or do anything. That's fun.
Well, that was kind of the idea, to disappear here, because it was also when all of the rioting was going on in Los Angeles, and that's when I moved up here. So it was almost like an escape. You're not supposed to see anybody, so I made it easy.
Yeah, I heard of a dude that went and bought a ghost town during COVID, so I get it.
Yeah, you never know.
So how'd you meet all these famous musicians, man? You're hanging out with people from Dawes and the Wallflowers and stuff. How did that all get together?
So actually, that was a result of working with my friend, Matt Linesch, who produced the album. Matt was somebody I met, just kind of partying in Venice, and I brought him my songs, and I didn't realize he had such an incredible studio when I brought him my songs. And yeah, he facilitated helping me book those session players, and a lot of them have gone on to be my good friends.
Yeah, that guy Matt, he's a band maker, man. Not only does he have that studio, he puts people together. He's a handshaker and a baby smiler, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's like really nice. He's very close in age to me, and he's also a professor of engineering. So he just is very, got it together.
He's a brain. That's
Oh, yeah.
cool. So have you been on the road? Have you toured the country with your music?
I have not toured the country with my music. I have played in South Carolina. I played regionally a bit, and as well as here in LA. But that's my goal with this album. It is my debut album, and something, I've had a vision to create. And yeah, I left a successful career as a performer and singing weddings and playing bars and things like that. And, I didn't want to be a cover singer. So this is kind of me trying to establish that. And I would like to tour this record. So that's something that I'm working on setting up.
Yeah, it's going to happen totally. I mean, that's the next step. I usually tell people at your level that after this interview, you're going to be seen on television next. That's the next rung. You're going to be on those Saturday morning programs where they're like, and now music by Regina. That's going to be fun for you,
Sure.
So, okay, who is your number one influence? It doesn't have to be an old one. It could be a new one. But who is the one, like if you had to go to the record store and pick out one vinyl to play, what would it be?
Well, one of my favorites of all time is Bonnie Raitt, definitely. She was a big influence on my sound. And yeah, I mean, I could list people like Carole King and, in that realm. But I definitely have a lot of influences in my music for sure.
Now, when it comes to your current writing, how has California and living in Topanga Canyon, which is, a little bit out there from the city, you do, like you mentioned, you get that kind of secluded feel in the canyon. How has that influenced your songwriting for this new album?
So it's definitely had a large influence in terms of, being in a very peaceful place that subsequently is inspiring, which I think that it's kind of, you think you can understand the mindset from the outside, but once you're here, it's pretty profound, I think. And I think that's why there is like a rich history of great music coming from, Topanga Canyon, Laurel Canyon in Los Angeles. And I think people seek that like connection with nature. It makes you feel like more like a human.
Yeah, I agree. And you are right next to one of the premier hiking spots in Los Angeles County with Topanga State Park right there. So,
yeah.
I mean, my wife and I get out there and we get to the top of the hill and we just like gaze out across the ocean. You get like this full 180-degree view of the ocean, and it's fantastic. And it is very spiritual up there.
Yes, maybe closer to God. What are we, like 2,500 feet of elevation, I think, at the top?
Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
Pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah, just kind of like Ojai. If you're if you write books, you're in Ojai, and if you write songs, you're either in Topanga Canyon or you're at Big Sur.
Oh yeah,
up there. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
So, do you consider yourself, Regina Ferguson, Americana singer, songwriter, musician? Do you consider yourself more of a producer of music? What do you like more? Do you like making the music or do you like performing it?
So I'd say it's a pretty equal balance because it's, as an artist, as a songwriter, I think you do it because you love it and it's something that you really can't live without. And so I think in terms of just creating music, I think it's really like fundamental to who I am. But like there's definitely a thrill that comes with like getting on stage and getting to play it. And like that's a totally different aspect of the, situation.
Yeah.
But I'd say to create for creation's sake, I think is like the most important thing, not to like strive for some like monetary satisfaction, because I feel like when you have that approach, it's not going to be like authentic.
That's not how creators work. Creators work for creating the art. When you are writing a song, I'm sure that there comes a moment when, you're able to get the bridge right, and you got the vocals down and everything at that one moment, like all comes together and it snaps in your head. That's got to be a very incredible moment for an artist. And that's why you do it. To make the money on the other side, that's just like the bonus.
Right. And like, of course, everyone has to be realistic. But like I said, I wanted to leave like just singing covers at bars. Like I would rather, for the past few years, work my day job and make an album than go expend all my energy on, doing something that puts you in essentially a loop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, getting out of that, making music. Do you have a songbook? Do you have very important 3-ring binder that you carry around with you everywhere?
Oh, I have notebooks everywhere that are filled up for sure. But I also love using voice memos. It's like my voice memos are filled up too.
Yeah, I heard, a lot of big famous pop artists come up with their hooks by singing them into their little notepad phone thing. That's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, I do that a lot, definitely.
Makes it easier, I would think. Easier to remember stuff. When you wake up in the middle of the night and you have something in your head, you're like, oh, where's my phone?
And sometimes I think to myself, maybe all the music in the past is so good because people only remembered the good stuff because they couldn't.
They didn't have to like go through their notebook and be like, no. Well,
like more like
what was I thinking? No.
Yeah.
Like if you forget the melody, then it wasn't good. Sorry.
That's right. That's right. If it's not memorable from the jump, then it's not worth it. That's funny. So,
right, so you're rolling around with your backpack full of notebooks, scribbling stuff down. You got your phone, you're singing into it. Now, do you also feel lost when you don't have a guitar within reach?
Well, I'd say it's definitely one of my main accessories. Unfortunately, I can't fit it in my purse, but
oh, you don't have a purse-sized guitar? That's what ukuleles are for.
But yeah, actually my husband plays in my band, and we got married last summer. So our house is just full of guitars and guitar amps, and like it takes up a lot of space.
So you're like stepping over the guitars. Like that's how many guitars you have. It's like
surrounded by inspiration, man. That's the best way to make music.
Yeah.
So you got your debut album out.
Well, actually, it hasn't come out yet. Today I'm releasing the 4th single from the album.
Oh, awesome.
Man, Barry, do we get to play that today?
I hope so. Which one is that one now?
That's awesome.
Now, this song is the title track off of the album. It's called Fortune.
Fortune. Okay, now this is the 4th single. You're knocking out singles out the park there.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a modern day thing, like people's attention spans are so short, and for like this is kind of how the algorithm's set up on things like Spotify, where they kind of push your music if you release something every month. And so that's kind of how it works. And it's also fun. It's like, you make an album and it's like, then you just put it out. And then, unless well, of course I'd like to tour it, but I'm just saying hypothetically, like someone didn't tour it and then people just go on to the next thing. They're like, oh, when's the next thing coming out? It's like, oh wait, I just spent all my money.
And
like
it's Netflix. It's Netflix versus HBO. You either drop the whole series all at once and you get a buzz for a week, or you slow drip it like old broadcast television and you release an episode or a song every
singles
week.
World now.
So you game the system. That's what you got to do. You're gaming the system, and I love it.
Yeah, and I put out music videos for the first 3 songs as well. So that was just like, it's fun. It's like, it's fun to highlight, the song that you spent all this time working on.
In your music videos, is Topanga Canyon the backdrop?
So let's see. One of them is
Nice.
the main place we shot it. Yes.
That's so cool.
I'm sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
a big fan. I love Topanga State Park. I'm like really jealous that you live there.
I know
It's
it's pretty much my backyard. It's awesome.
I know, it's so awesome.
You can't help but be creative when you're surrounded with birds,
Yeah.
nature.
I know.
So-
I fill up my hummingbird feeder.
Probably every day.
Yeah.
You're at a point where you can hand out peanuts to the local animals there. It's like, hey, like Snow
Don't
White.
start
or
feeding
something.
squirrels. I'm going to tell you right now, just don't start feeding
Yeah,
squirrels.
don't do it, man.
I have gotten myself into a really bad predicament.
Squirrel
Yeah,
riot.
I just put on my gown and go into the garden
Yeah, right. Go pick some flowers, blow a dandelion. Well, that's cool. So now you have some shows coming up, which is very exciting. Tomorrow night, you're playing Harvard and Stone. And then coming up in May, this is huge, the Americana West Music Festival.
Oh, nice.
So many bands playing this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming this is your first time playing that festival?
It is. I'm very excited. It is put on by the Blackbird record label. It's sponsored by SoCal Sound.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of it. It's an official Americana Fest event, which is, the main Americana Fest is in Nashville. So
Right. Americana West.
yes.
Yeah, I went last year, and based on what everyone said, everybody met a bunch of not last year. It was the last time they did it,
Okay.
pre-COVID. But everybody was meeting and jamming together. And when you go down the street there, I think it was at Hotel Cafe, you just see a bunch of band members hanging out, talking to each other. Felt really cool. It's something that you don't see in LA very often anymore.
Well, what I do like is that there is a scene for, the kind of music that I make. And you asked earlier, do I classify as Americana? Yes, I do, but obviously that envelopes a lot of genres. So like my music definitely has like a folk rock influence, and I'd say it's like folk rock country. But yeah, I think what's great is there is a genre that can envelope that, and you can come together as a community and like have these shows that kind of blanket a larger audience so that you can like bring people in and discover new music and things like that, where I feel like some genres are just so like put in the corner.
Yeah, Americana really opens it up. There's like 5 or 6 different kinds of music that can encompass that.
Right.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited to talk to you on the other side of things because, the inspiration just goes tenfold after you bro down with fellow musicians. So this will be pretty exciting.
Pretty tight-knit community. And I'll be playing the Grand Old Echo at the Echo on the 21st of May. And then Topanga Days.
And then Topanga Days, man. You're filled up, man. Spring and summer is starting to happen for you.
I'm excited, yeah.
So Regina, how can people get your album or your singles or tickets to your shows?
So you can find everything on my website, reginaferguson.com. And I'm definitely very active on Instagram and I post all my shows. And you can find my singles on Spotify or wherever you listen to music. And the album will be coming out as a vinyl and releasing in August.
On wax.
So follow her on Instagram at Regina Ferguson Music on Instagram.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we're going to play the latest one that just came out. What's it called again?
This one's called Fortune. And I have a radio edit for it because there's a very long guitar solo, but
oh yeah,
we'll hear that
very long guitar solos. That's like one
that's
of the things
dope,
that make
dude.
Americana awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna play that song, but before we go, I'm gonna ask you the most important question of the entire interview. Are you ready, Regina Ferguson? This is a big one.
I don't know if I'm ready, but go ahead.
No one's ever ready for this one.
Okay.
All right. Would you rather get into a battle to the death with 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses. A battle to the death, Regina.
I mean, I think I'm going to go with the duck-sized horses.
The little guys, 100 little guys?
Well, I feel like maybe actually like like it could be like piranhas where they kind of all get you. So like, I don't know. It's a hard choice, but I think
I'm gonna make it easier.
Step on them.
You can use your guitar as a weapon.
Okay, then the little ones for sure.
Yeah. You probably do some damage there. I mean, if you have to save yourself, then that's the most logical, I would assume.
Well, that was different.
Well, Regina Ferguson, thanks so much for being on the program. Thanks for playing the music. Let's play your new song now. Regina Ferguson, awesome. Everybody. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Barry.
Well, it took so long